Hello friends, Patrick here, and today we're going to be talking about the NBN. And if you've been watching my channel or are subscribed, you know that I cover the NBN and general news about it, and I try to do a bit of a deep dive of questions that I've heard people ask. One of the questions that has come up, and I mentioned it in another video, I didn't want to make that video too long, but if you want to check it out, it's why the NBN went to this multi-technology mix that it is today. So fiber to the premises, mixed with the node, mixed with the curb and HFC. So if you want to have a look at that, I'll put the link below. Have a watch, let me know what you guys think about that on that video. But today, we're going to answer the question, why didn't the government go private? So what I mean by that, and what a lot of people are asking, is why didn't they just put out a contract to all your telcos to build the new fiber to the premises connections, basically the new internet for all of Australia? And there is a reason. The AAAC recognized that private enterprises were never going to build a new fixed broadband network across Australia. The investment horizon is too long and the capital investment is too high. How do you expect telcos to spend billions on a country where some of the telcos aren't even owned or operated in Australia? Sure, operated, but are owned by outside forces. Certainly, private enterprises would have built parts of such a network in areas of Australia where a good financial return could have been generated. It is a business, after all. It was unrealistic to expect private enterprises to provide every Australian premises with high-speed broadband access and provide it at the same price regardless of where it is located. Can you believe that telcos would actually abide by that? So let's go back a bit. There were three major fixed line telecommunication deployments in Australia prior to the NBN. Only two could be regarded as being successful, both built by governments. So out of the three, the two that were built by government were actually successful. The first one was an overland telegraph line built by the South Australian government in the 1870s to be exact. The second was the existing telephone copper network progressively built by the Federal Postmaster General's Department starting in the early parts of the 20th century. Both turned out to be great value to Australia and putting it on the map, or rather literally connecting it to the rest of the world. Now the third major fixed line investment, and this is the one I spoke to you guys about in another video describing what the HFC cable is, and it is this technology. It was built for pay TV purposes. It was attempted by two private sector telcos, Telstra and Optus like I mentioned, and the HFC infrastructure was duplicated as the two companies chased each other down Australian streets until they both called a halt to their rollouts.
Important for all peoples. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I like him a lot.
After only covering the more wealthy, because it's a business, and profitable parts of the city in terms of utilization of capital, this multi-billion-dollar duplication of assets was hardly an ideal outcome. And that's why there's only 4 million homes connected to the HFC, and out of those 4 million, only 2 can actually use it with the NBN right now. The returns are too low and the risks are too high. That was precisely the reason the government was doing it, because no purely commercial entity would undertake a project like the NBN. So we have to give them some props for that. The government was also doing this because of the massive social and economical benefits to the nation in having an ubiquitous, wholesale, uniformly priced high-speed broadband network. An FTTP-based network, so that's the fiber to the premises, could provide an acceptable long-term financial return for the government while providing an ever greater speeds and utility for its end users. At the end of the day, getting something good now that can be future-proofed is actually a good business plan also, but for the government, it's great. They won't have to do this for another 50 years if it all worked out, which we know it didn't. The coalition's move to the MTM model has created ongoing financial problems for NBN Co and its shareholders. The government in 2018 NBN Co. reported that the estimate time achieve positive cash flow had shipped out to the year 2022. Oh, it's far along and far gone at this point, and the peak funding had increased to 50.9 billion, as mentioned in my previous video. On current projections, the initial network build will be completed by 2020. From that time, ongoing cash flow will be largely a function of revenue and operating costs. Like with anything else, interest is also playing a big part. And of course, another round of capital spending will be required before too long, because many of the poorly served fiber to the nodes areas with long copper lines will require upgrades to cope with an ever-increasing demand for speed and bandwidth. Unfortunately, potential to generate revenue and reduce operating costs has significantly been degraded by the move to the multi-technology mix. So it'll be a serious challenge for NBN Co. to achieve a positive cash flow and any long-term financial viability. Predictable speed, performance, and higher reliability would have made the revenue generation capabilities of the fiber to the premises considerably better than the mixed mode one, both in terms of take-up rates and average revenue per end user. And users who are prepared to pay the higher capability services don't have that option with the various technologies of the coalition's MTM. There are people willing to pay more per month for faster speeds, and these guys are not providing services to the customers to allow them to spend money. There's free money out there, Mr. Government, and you're just not really providing any roads for people to speed on. In any case, guys, thank you very much for watching. These are the reasons why the NBN was not able to go private. It's been proven in the past that Telstra and Optus failed miserably with HFC, and that was put on pause because of how terrible and stupid that whole thing was. I mean, two entities pinned against each other on the same streets in areas where there's a lot of money, obviously. So guys, let me know what you think below. Has it been that much of a burden if they went privately? Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, like, and we'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching.